I hope you all can hear me and see me. So today's session, we are going to talk about the new pattern that we have in the AILET exam. Allow me to share my PPT. So yesterday was quite an interesting turn in the events when the CLAT notification was discovered and the new paper pattern was discovered, the AILET notification. And the interesting part was that AILET had also notified that their new website would be functional. So now the official website, which earlier was nludelhi.ac.in, is changed to National Law University Delhi.ac.in. So okay, let me just see, my screen wasn't visible. Let me share it again. Now I hope it's visible. Yes, so as I was saying, that their website changes were also notified on the notice that they had given. And now the official website has been changed from NLU Delhi.ac.in to National Law University Delhi.ac.in. And that's where all the changes in the paper pattern were notified. Right? So if you go on to National Law University Delhi.ac.in, these are the dates and everything that come up over there, where from 17th application will start, which is today. As of now, the application process has not yet started, but just keep at it, because mostly at National University Delhi in the evening, it picks up. So we still have half of the evening left. And you have till 7th April to fill the application forms. Once the application forms are out, we will again, like the CLAT form filling session, we will do the AILET form filling session for all of you. Again, the admit card date and of course the date of the exam has been notified on that website. So we will be holding the AILET application form filling session once the process starts. And if you then scroll down further to eligibility, nothing new here on this page. Just like every year, the eligibility criteria is mentioned. But unlike previous years, where the eligibility criteria for general candidates was 50% in class 12, now it is reduced to 45%, just the same as CLAT. And for category students, the reduction is further to 40% in class 12. 65%, which is similar, is for foreign nationals and people of Indian origin. So nothing new except that 5% reduction in the eligibility criteria rate. And again, it has been made similar to the CLAT exam. And same, this thing, of course, foreign national candidates, overseas citizens of India and all are exempt from the test. Again, nothing major to report in the seat matrix. It's pretty clear, the horizontal division of seats, and finally the seats after the horizontal division of persons with disability is, after that you have the seats for general candidate, which are 47, with the total number of seats, which is 104. So whatever eligibility you fit into, you can check your seats there. Now, the most important thing here is the paper pattern notification. Note that nothing changed, has been changed in terms of number of questions and time. So it's not as if the time has been made 120 minutes, nor have the number of questions been reduced or increased. However, these 150 questions are now distributed over 3 sections. So a major haul for the AILET paper pattern change has been that now, instead of the regular 5 sections, you have 3 sections where they have done away with maths and legal reasoning as a section. Maths, of course, has been completely done away with, but legal reasoning as a section has been removed. However, there is a slight line under logical reasoning which says that legal principle based questions may be asked in the logical reasoning section only. So now the 3 sections you have are English, which is 50 marks, GK, which is 30 marks. GK number of questions have been reduced from 35 to 30. And logical reasoning, which is 70 questions. So the 70 question thing in logical reasoning suggests that whatever 15 questions they have to ask from legal will be asked here. So what is the exact meaning of this? Let's understand that. So the meaning of this new paper pattern could be that, that in English, since you are now going to answer 50 questions, it just shows the importance of this section here in the paper. That means you could be asked more than one RC. It could also be more RCs. We have to wait for a sample paper to come out, which hopefully it should, to see what is happening over here. Anyway, this Sunday you have an AILET exam, AILET mock at Clat Possible. So we will be giving you the mock based on the new paper pattern, right? And if need be, we will probably shift it so that if there is any sample paper that has to come, we will wait for it and then make the mock more relevant based on the sample paper. Now, there won't be any legal GK or legal knowledge at all in the paper. Legal reasoning also as a section has been removed. And as it is stated that nothing, you are not expected to have any kind of knowledge of law or the statutes of law. So no legal GK will be in the paper. Of course, current affairs will be asked, and any legal questions pertaining to current affairs could be asked in the GK section. So yes, current legal knowledge, which is like current affairs and GK, that could continue to be a part of your paper. So while no static legal knowledge is going to be asked, there won't be any questions based on that. Current affairs and any legal questions based on current affairs would pretty much still be a part of the paper under GK. Maths is completely done away with. Now there is no maths in the AILET exam. However, analytical reasoning could continue to be asked just as it always is in the logical reasoning section. So AR is still pretty much in the paper in the exam. So now the logical reasoning section, which is 70 marks, so you can imagine how much they have to play around with, will have your traditional critical reasoning topics, deductive and all. It could have all of that. It could have a few questions on AR. And of course, I think there will be around 10-15 questions, which probably would stem in from legal. So this reasoning section will now have three types of reasoning in it: analytical, critical, and legal. So this revolutionizing change, of course, you can see in the AILET exam. But since there is a specific mention of no legal knowledge while doing the questions, I want to stress that you have to solve legal reasoning based just like it is CR. What you read is what you have to apply with no added knowledge. I know most of you have a lot of knowledge of the legal reasoning section. Many of you debate with actual cases and all, which is not going to be healthy at all for your exam. It is going to be detrimental to your success because you are not supposed to use all that in the exam. So how can you go about preparing for this new paper pattern? Please understand that 50 questions means definitely passages are going to increase. So reading has to go up. You have to focus on a lot of reasoning. 70 marks of reasoning means that you have to really brush up your critical reasoning again. You have to really brush up for your analytical reasoning again. It is now easier going to be to prepare for CLAT and AILET because now there are no extra things that you have to bear in mind, like yesteryears for the candidates. You know, they had to learn up legal knowledge, they had to learn up legal lot of static stuff in legal, and sometimes their question approach to AILET legal was always maybe, you know, we have to use some extra outside knowledge, but now all that is out. So there is a lot of opportunity for you to excel in both the exams. Now there's no need for you to be distracted for an AILET preparation. You must continue with vocabulary building and grammar. If you haven't started it, please start. Please note that your maximum marks are now coming from critical reasoning and English. Most of that paper is now that. So pick up your black books in vocabulary, pick up your grammar black books and start preparing for vocabulary and grammar, children. I cannot stress upon it enough. You must redo your purple books for RCs and CR and get the second set of purple books, RC and CR purple book. The second set will be, I think, should be out now. You contact your center heads and find out when you can come and pick up the second set of purple books for RCs, CR, and verbal ability, which has vocabulary and grammar questions. You must get serious about the English section. You must get serious about the reasoning section. If you have been ignoring these sections, counting on other sections, please note that AILET now has no other sections, really. So it is time for all of you to sit, solve RCs, solve critical reasoning, practice AR, and go back to preparation for grammar and vocabulary. Your LMS has all the videos. Please sit down, finish your grammar videos from the LMS, solve the sheets, solve your black books, and get down to solving your workbooks. You must also now attempt AILET mocks very seriously so that you are able to adjust to the paper pattern. We will ensure that we are going to increase your AILET mocks and from our side so that you are used to the pattern of just handling 3 sections. Per section time has to be redistributed. For example, English, which you probably just did in 20 minutes, now should be given about 45 minutes. You have again GK, similar time, about 15 minutes and all, followed by reasoning, which would take the maximum amount of time, considering there are 70 questions now. So you have to sit down and redistribute your timing in the 3 sections and then be able to perform. So all this work has to go. You need probably 2 or 3 mocks to understand the redistribution of timing. And of course, later on, then practice. But before giving the mocks, ensure that your books are solved, ensure that your workbooks are redone, and your basics of vocabulary, grammar are properly handled. Parajumbles. We had a cover-up class also on parajumbles at CP, at least 2 cover-up classes. Ensure that you are solving all of that well. And nothing unusual again over here. You have negative marking as it has always been. And your earlier uh, you know the tiebreaker was the legal section. Now it is the logical section. So a person with a higher score in the logical section will get a better rank as is specified in the notification. There is no GK to prepare specifically for AILET. So I'm going to take up questions now that I can see that are coming up. So there is no GK that you have to prepare specifically for AILET. GK has to be prepared completely from GK Perfect. It is going to take care of your CLAT and AILET GK both. Earlier, GK Perfect was looking at specific questions in AILET, but now since it's entirely current affairs, that means our job is also easy. We have to prepare you for a similar kind of GK, which is current affairs for both CLAT and AILET. So there is no specific thing that you have to prepare. I have a question from Lakshya Bhargav. Will it be passage-based CR or traditional statement-based CR? It will be both. AILET has always given a decent critical reasoning section in all the years, even with the old pattern. So AILET gives you a healthy mix of deductive, logical, statement-based CR and passage-based CR. So I'm expecting that you will get passage-based CR questions definitely. You're going to get statement-based CR questions also. You should get deductive logic questions, logical reasoning questions, that is conditional questions also, and AR also. Right? There is no need for CP to provide new books because the paper is not asking you physics or chemistry that we have to write down new books for them. It is just the same thing. Things have been added or subtracted. So yes, we might later on reduce the number of legal books that we give because now it's only reasoning based legal questions that are there, but there is no additional book that we have to give you. I mean, we are giving you the purple workbooks too also. So some of you have picked up, some of you are yet to pick up. So do ensure that you do that. The next AILET mock that you give will be based on the new pattern, definitely. Okay, so as I said, nothing new for GK preparation, right? Static GK is not going to be asked as static GK. Static GK will be asked if it is relevant to the current affairs. So CLAT and AILET both are going to ask you current affairs. Now, under that particular current affair, if you have to have some extra knowledge, or if they ask you a capital of the country which is in the news, yes, that is static GK, but it is related to current affairs. So all static GK that you have to know will be pertaining to the current affairs. So if it's a population of a place, or if it's the demographic distribution of people, it will be for a place which is in the news for some reason. I hope that answers your question. Right? I'm just trying to sort out, since there's a whole stream of questions. What do I think about the new pattern? I think this is a great revolution in test prepping, because now the CLAT paper and AILET paper are closer to most aptitude papers. Whatever extra was asked here has been removed because it is believed by law schools. It took them a lot of years to come out with this belief, but it is believed by them that whatever legal you have to learn should be in law schools. They have been saying it for years and years now, but finally they have put it into practice in their entrance exams. Do we need to buy legal PYQ now? That's a very good question, Avantika. Yes, you should buy legal PYQ because CLAT still has legal reasoning. So what has happened is actually your woes haven't come down really. It's not as if both the papers have removed legal, right? Legal will be part of AILET also, but it will be reduced, much reduced now. And now, except for 30 questions, I'm expecting about 15, 18 questions only. But yes, there will be legal questions in AILET, and there will be legal questions. Anyway, there is a legal section in CLAT. So you do have to buy legal PYQ, and considering that the last CLAT exam had everything from legal PYQ, right? So we still have to wait for their paper pattern to see the kind of legal reasoning questions they give. If they're just going to give same old legal reasoning questions, now they've reduced and in a new section, then you still have to do some legal reasoning, just that the focus of legal reasoning will be reduced to a greater extent. So instead of the 35 questions you were doing earlier, you will end up doing 15, which is almost half, but still they will be there. This is what I'm expecting. So am I expecting a hugely revolutionized logical reasoning section? No. What I am expecting in the logical reasoning section now would be, yes, earlier, they will give you CR, they'll give you some AR, and now a few questions of legal will also feature in there, right? So this is somewhat what we are expecting. There will be maths related questions in AR just like they are. Yes. So you have, series and all, you can have all those questions in the reasoning section. You can start giving mocks if you are not done with books and workbooks. Yes, you should. Mocks give you another type of practice. They give you a sense of timing. They help you with decision making. Maybe your output is reduced because your course is still left, but that experience of sitting down for 2 hours or 1.5 hours and working is very, very important. If you have exhausted the LMS RCs, I recommend that you go to MyZone. There is a whole collection of 1000 RCs and CR on MyZone, so please solve that. I've already answered the question related to static GK. Static GK, which is in the news. Static GK on things in the news will still be asked, just like they have always been asked. There is no maths, but there is logical reasoning in AILET. Yes, right now you are going to give AILET mocks online because our physical centers are not yet opened as per government orders. Legal current affairs magazine still stays relevant. Yes, because current affairs, both legal and GK will be asked. I've already said that RCs are going to be there. In fact, I'm expecting at least 2 RCs in the AILET exam. There could be more. I've already told you the strategy for now. This is the page on strategy. I've asked you to improve your reading comprehension. I've asked you to redo your vocabulary and grammar. Now there is, so the vocabulary grammar you have to take up for AILET and verbal ability. Redo your black books if you haven't done them. If you have, still redo vocabulary and grammar. And I've already asked you to focus a lot on AR and CR. Redo the RC, CR and verbal ability purple books. You are going to get a second set of purple books. So just find out when you are going to receive them. And I've already asked you to do your AILET mock seriously. Sit down for the first mock, distribute the time properly, and if required, not if required, participate in the mock analysis for AILET mocks very, very seriously. For GK Perfect, you can log on to platformable.com and it will, for the material, you go on to material and you can click on GK Perfect. You will be given 4 volumes of GK Perfect, 3 books and 1 online final volume just before the exam for the last month. Those of you who are back home, you can get your GK Perfect via courier services. You can let the center heads know and they can send you the books over there, right? But in about 20 days, I think we will open up again. So I would request you all to come back to your CP centers and start preparing. Any question regarding SICI and percentages, if it is there, will be in the AR section. So no questions on SICI will be given because AR you are only doing series and all. So any questions related to maths, whatever is the syllabus in the analytical reasoning book, you have a black AR book, just that is enough. So only focus on that. Set set 2 of purple books will get English and CR. They had gone into print. You will be getting them very, very soon. Yes, the same pattern will be followed for 2023 also. So all the 2023 candidates, this is relevant for you as well, because same pattern will be followed. Naturally, they are not going to get out a new pattern now and then remove it after 1 year. So yes, this will be the pattern now for AILET. No static legal knowledge is going to be asked. I've already told you. Yes, Prakhar, GK Perfect is enough for your CLAT and AILET preparation. 2023 candidates will get their GK Perfects from January, which is now. So your GK Perfect begins now. Okay. So no maths. So I don't know why you're saying you have to study for maths. Why will you study for maths when maths is not there anymore? Right? No legal knowledge black book has to be studied. All you have to do is continue your legal reasoning preparation the way you have always done. Now the legal reasoning preparation for CLAT and AILET will be same. CLAT will continue to give you passage based. AILET will not give you passage based. It will give you paragraph based legal reasoning. The only thing is that the number of questions are reduced in legal reasoning for AILET. Now you don't have to study the legal book of knowledge. I hope that is clear to everyone. If yes, then please show me a thumbs up. No maxims, no legalese will be there in the AILET exam unless a maxim has been in the news. So all legal knowledge will be part of current affairs if it has been in the news. Otherwise, your preparation for legal reasoning is the same, which is reasoning. Read the principle, apply the principle. The only thing changes is now the whole section is removed. Only few questions will be part of logic. So you have to study CR very well, AR and legal reasoning for whole one section of 70 questions. Right? So I'm expecting around 15 questions, but we will see once there is any paper that they introduce. And the same goes for CLAT. Now, legal knowledge black book that you are getting and the legal knowledge 1001 on website and all, for AILET, it is not relevant anymore. Only current legal affairs, any maxim, any legal jargon in the news is going to be important. So legal affairs, legal news, legal magazine is what you have to, the current magazine is what you have to follow. So you are already getting a current affairs legal magazine, you follow it, you unfollow the legal knowledge black book for the time being. Legal reasoning you continue to do now as not as a separate section, just like CLAT. CLAT again, it's a separate section. You have legal PYQ, you have to go over the legal PYQ. Your 15 questions in the logical section can come from the legal PYQ only. So legal PYQ, you study, you solve it, except the questions on knowledge, you solve everything from the legal PYQ. Right? Vocabulary, there is no vocabulary strategy. You have to pick the black book and you have to learn it, Sujal Sharma. Just pick up the black book of vocabulary and start learning it starting now. All right. Same way bold students have to prepare. Good for you. You don't have to unprepare anything now. So same thing, you solve all the black books, the bold students, you solve your purple books, do the mocks. That's how you have to prepare. Ensure that you pick up the GK Perfect and also the legal PYQ so that your legal preparation is then limited to the PYQ. Right? So you have to prepare for vocabulary by picking up and learning the black book. I have repeated it 3-4 times now. Great. So if you have not subscribed to our social media handles, that is up there for you. Please ensure you do it. Also, subscribe to our Telegram channel. All important stuff is posted there. Everything that you have to learn, any GK, the quizzes, everything is on the Telegram channel. And I would love to hear from all of you. You can find me on most of the social media handles that you are seeing here, right? Great. So all your books are in print, your GK Perfect, your purple books for RCCR and verbal ability. So you will be getting that very soon as next week, I think. We were just disturbed for 1 week where, with the pandemic, some of us, rather most of us, succumbed to it in a way that we got it, not succumbed. But so now most of us are back. So by next week, you will be getting everything. All right. Thank you so much. So yes, for 15 questions, legal PYQ is like a Bible. It's more than enough. All right. So GK Perfect is more than enough. Legal PYQ is more than enough. And your purple books, black books are also more than enough. Please solve your mocks very well. Do the mock analysis. We have mock analysis almost every week, guys. So ensure you come for it. It's not a class that you can cut. And you will soon realize with mock analysis and doubt sessions, which we take up one-on-one, where you can speak to us, this is very effective for your score improvement. Ask all those kids who are turning up for these two things. I cannot stress on the relevance of mock analysis and doubt sessions. We use up the whole 2 hours, 2.5 hours solving doubts. So make sure that you turn up for these two events. Right? This week, you have your CP CRRC quiz. I hope more and most of you will be turning up for the RCCR quiz. This week, we will take up strength and weaken questions. Now that logic is a huge part of your paper, so make sure that on Wednesday, we meet for the quiz. Right? So it'll be up on our YouTube channel also. So, and the Zoom. So if link, so message us for the CR quiz, which started from last week. You also have fallacies, flaws in reasoning session. It's a prime time session for all CP students on Thursday. So Wednesday is the quiz, Thursday is the flaws in reasoning session. I hope all of you are going to turn up for those two sessions. And your GK quiz will be as on schedule. So your GK quiz, CRRC quiz, every week, Wednesday is the CRRC quiz. And this week we have flaws in reasoning, office hours. It's a prime time session at CLAT Possible, right? So it was lovely to interact with all of you. And you can mail me at surabhi@clatpossible.com for any of your other doubts. And we will know more once the sample papers come out, children. And you will see all the new changes in the CLAT Possible mock test series for AILET. So ensure that you give all the mocks. Thank you so much, guys. And it was again lovely meeting and interacting with all of you. Stay safe, wear a mask, and sit and study at home. You really should not be out. Thank you.